Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Jakarta, Indonesia. This is the FIBA Asia Cup, Indonesia 2022. It's game day one, and it is the battle between Syria and Iran. Well, this Group C battle is one of the two games in Group C today. The other, Japan and Kazakhstan. We look forward to that one. That'll tip off after this one concludes, and Iran trading blows with Syria for the second time in a very short space of time. In fact, they just squared off against each other in the Asian qualifiers for the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Iran winning that game 91-56, and Syria in Aleppo, where really just basketball fever took over. So many fans showing up for those games, and those same fans will no doubt be watching from afar, hoping the team that they see on TV can turn that around. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Mills, and it's quite an event here at the Asia Cup. Yesterday, a lot of great games. We just watched New Zealand blow out India. This one potentially is another blowout, Mark. Are we expecting a nail biter?
Yeah, potentially. It's one of those where I don't think we expected to be such a blowout in the previous game for New Zealand, but this one, you think again, Iran, they're surely going to be too strong, kind of one of the iconic Asian teams in international basketball. You know, they've medaled in 5 of the last 6 Asia Cups, so you'd expect them to be vying for a medal again here at this tournament. For Syria, they don't quite have that kind of storied history. They have some talent, but it's all about consistency for them.
Well, they've got a big absentee as we look at Iran coming out. They're locked and loaded and ready to go to make another run at another Asian title. Remember, they made it to the final not that long ago, 2017, before falling to Australia, pretty decisively, it has to be said. But they had won 3 Asian Cups before that in recent times. For Syria, they're without Amir Jabbar Hinton. How will they function without their naturalized point guard from the United States? We're going to pause for the commentary and the playing of the national anthem.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Iran.
So this fun occasion, Iran taking on Syria once again in international basketball, and you can see Coach Saeed Armagani going and shaking hands with Javier Juarez, the Spaniard that holds the reins to Syria. And I suppose with Hinton not able to make his trip from California, some issue with catching his flight, or the flight didn't leave. it leaves him without the favorite point guard. Not what you need for your first game in the FIBA Asia Cup against one of the powerhouses in Asia and a team that routinely plays at FIBA Basketball World Cups and Olympics, a team that has the likes of Hamed Haddadi. So Anthony Bakar, Nadim Issa, and co. They've got their work cut out for them today, Mark, as they try to get off on the right foot here at the Asia Cup in Jakarta.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They don't want to start on the back foot, and that absence is certainly going to hinder their chances against what is a very, very strong Iranian team. But they've got to look, you know, to take some of the positives. You know, they're coming off the back of that loss earlier this month. It was a big loss, 91-56. But there were some bright sparks within that. Issa, 13 points. Adribi had 10 points, 5 rebounds. And they're going to look to build from that. And I'm sure they've kind of looked back at that game tape and explored where maybe Iran have some of the weaknesses that they can look to go at. From Iran's point of view, this they maybe consider as a bit of a banana skin, something they could slip up on their chances to move towards that medal. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sure Iran's minimum expectations is a semi-final position, if not a medal. You know, as I said at the start, 5 out of 6 of the last Asia Cups, they've got a medal around their neck.
Xiao Zhang, Ahmed Al-Balushi, and Ahmed Ali Yassin Al-Shuwali, all refereeing today's game. Xiao from China, Ahmed from Oman, and Al-Shuwali from Iraq. And for Syria, Anthony Bakar, Elias Azri, Nadim Issa, Abdul Wahab Al-Hamwi, the giant center, and Omar Sheikh Ali, the veteran, in the starting 5. Nazarian, Arbasha, Obeid, Idilbi, Adribe, Alsate, and coming the reserves. We had Hinton on there, so it'll be interesting. Maybe he will show up eventually. I don't expect him to. Javier Juarez, well known in coaching circles, particularly in Spain, where he hails from, and they were pretty competitive in their game, I think, against Bahrain in the World Cup qualifiers, in the Asian Cup, in the Asian qualifiers for the FIBA Basketball World Cup. And then they were blown out by Iran pretty early, who start with Sajad Mashayekhi, Benan Yakchali, Mohammed Jamshidi, Jafar Badi, Arslan Kazemi, and Hamed Haddadi, Mosafari, Hassanzadeh, Yusufan, Zangane, Orethefar, Palthrote, and Mateen Agachampour coming off the bench for Coach Armagani. So Kazemi, the veteran, back in, one of the real workhorses for this Iran team. See if they, what kind of campaign they're going to have. Let's listen.
Intensity in defense. We started 52, okay?
من تو من بود 11 رو انجام دادیم. بعد از اینکه اینجا پیکن رول انجام میشه، پیکن رول انجام میشه، تو بیاد بیرون، حامد بیاد بالا.
Top, okay? You one side, you another side. Transition defense, man to man. Don't find to someone first, stop the rim, ball, and later. Rebound, 5 players in different rebound. Remember, you can use foul for a stop, not like this. Go with the body, find the ball. Don't let down the rim, score easy. Okay?
Strong, huh?
I don't want one-on-one and let pass. No, you fall. Anyone can play. Only play for this first half. No more than 5 minutes any player on the court. 100%. You fall. Pick and roll with one under. Flat with Janchiri to high flat. 2, 3, 4 black. At this moment, rebound, run. If it's possible, pass the ball. We won't take shot when they alone, okay? Without afraid.
Well, interesting hearing the Spanish coach talking English to the Syrians, and it's just one of the fascinating aspects for me of international basketball. And I suppose, you know, living in Europe also, you hear that in a lot of situations, but it's, you know, I thought he was speaking basketball language to the players, and it seemed to be registering.
It's a global language. It's a global language basketball. Pick and roll, I think we can pick that up anywhere in the world in any language.
But, you know, with this, yeah, I think probably that's an area where there's an advantage with the communication with the players when you're coached by a countryman.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. We've seen examples, obviously, of some coaches using translators, which complicates things more. And yeah, it's communication is key. But Coach Javi, you know, getting his point across.
So in the amazing city of Jakarta, it's day 2 of the FIBA Asia Cup 2022. Good afternoon, everybody. It's the first game of the afternoon, with an afternoon start anyway, and it's Iran taking on Syria, and Iran in the white, one of the powerhouses of Asian basketball, and missing with their first attempt. So now Syria will attack to the left on your screen, wearing the red. Bakar, one of the veterans, comes out and strokes the jump shot.
And that's important for Syria to get off to, you know, a good start offensively. They've run a good team offense there. They've not snatched it. It was part of what Coach Juarez was talking about in the huddle. You know, play that team basketball, don't look to go one-on-one, and it's paid off straight away.
Haddadi, one of the legends of Asian basketball, passes it outside to Masayeki, and he misses from three-point range. Bakar loses it, but Syria get it back. And Omar Sheikh Ali missing from downtown. And Shitty, quite the shooter. Masayeki, and gets into the paint and scores easily.
And I think from those first few possessions, you can certainly see that protection of the rim is key for Syria.
And that's where Iran are going to really give this Syria team problems with their pressure. And the best case scenario for Syria is exactly that, a missed shot and try to push the ball up the floor quickly. Oh, nice find. Ball comes back out. And the jump shot no good from Isa.
And he turned away what looked like a relatively easy reverse layup to take a difficult fading away corner jumper.
Just wonder if he was looking over his shoulder thinking if Haddadi was close by.
Whether he's going to end up with a Molten logo imprinted on his forehead.
Azri, I think, reached in and committed the foul. No, it was Omar Sheikh Ali that was called for that one. Masayeki left alone in the corner. And now the rebounding becomes an issue, and Haddadi off target.
And that's the problem, you know, as much as they're not being punished now, Iran will find their range and they'll start punishing them with that jump shot if Syria can't chase it out.
Nice cut. Good movement so far. Al-Hamwi has it knocked away by Haddadi.
It's very rare that you ever see Haddadi on the floor and not being the biggest man by a long way. It's going to be an interesting true battle of the bigs between those two.
Al-Hamwi spins and misses. And the drive and the foul, and the basket is good for Yakchali.
Yeah, take your pick on the fouls. I think you could have blown the whistle on 3 separate Syrian players on that drive.
So Yakchali, one of the big scorers for this Iran team, has been for some time now, puts the pressure on. Almost forcing the turnover.
That was Sheikh Ali's second foul as well, which is going to be interesting to see how Coach Juarez deals with his rotation, because he's going to have to manage any foul trouble they get into, because, you know, he's clearly going to have key guys that he wants to lean on in this game, and he doesn't want them off the floor too long.
Good hands, Masayeki, and he's going to explode. He knew the foul was coming. Masayeki appealing for the unsportsmanlike, but that appeal falls on deaf ears. No, he's going for the ball. foul on Azri, no doubt. So he's going to sit down. And Basha is going to come in as his replacement. And remember, no Hinton. So without your tall guard, high-scoring guard, Syria team has to bring in other players. Yaki makes the first.
And I think you're right with regards to Syria. Transition is going to be important. If they're going to stay in this game, they need to make it a higher paced game. If they get caught in a half-court game with Iran will just put them to score.
Well, the pass gets away from Omar Sheikh Ali. The pressure bothering Syria already. And the pass down to the feet. So Iran leading 7-2. Harith all the way at mid-court. He's not happy. And he goes back to his line. He knows he was too far. There he goes, and Kazemi makes the layup. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're going to hear an intense conversation over here on the bench of Syria.
We'll see how good his English is now.
And what against press? Is possible a screen? Is possible a screen? Not three. If no, deep pass. No, 3 and 2 here. If you don't want the ball, go out. How many turnovers? In no workout. You go me in the middle. You can stay shut up and go to the offensive rebound, defensive rebound, and put the screen, okay? Okay? You are clear, man, okay? Honey, go for Bayoma. Play in 3-2 and let one man down the rim. What is possible? Can I explain me? No, if you want, okay. Because maybe you lose one ball. Maybe it's more important to stay focused. 1, 2, 3. When receive
Okay,
the ball,
well, I think you get the gist. Just trying to reorganize the troops over there on the Syria bench.
It's interesting as well, almost having to wrestle a little bit of power on that bench. Establishes authority within that team, and not what you'd expect at this point, but if he needs to do it, he needs to do it. It has to be one vision that they follow.
So, able to get the basketball across midcourt this time. And pass gets away from Bakar, but he gets it back. Now he whips it to the free throw line. And good defense by Kazemi, but he is called for the foul on Adribe. I'm not sure you will find a harder worker in Asian basketball than Arslan Kazemi.
He certainly puts it all out there, that's for sure.
He is a workhorse. He's talking to the ref right now, saying he kicked his leg out. Had a couple of had an experience playing for SMU and then famously Oregon in American college basketball. Kazemi also was right on the edge of making it in the NBA, and in the end has come back to Asia. And I think because he plays with this guy, he's kind of overshadowed quite substantially. The ball turned over. Also, Iran, you know, with Samad Nikol Bahrami for so long. Oh, nice drive down low for Amir Al-Sati.
And that's a strong move, and I'm liking that they're being more aggressive. They're going straight to the basket and not spending too much of their shot clock just on the perimeter.
What are we to make of Al-Hamwi coming out of the game?
Yeah, I think from the timeout, we can make that Coach Juarez isn't quite happy with what he's delivering. He's not working towards the game plan that Coach Juarez had.
Al-Sate's already scored since coming into the game. Al-Basha picks up the dribble, gets it back. Bounce pass. Shot clock about to expire, and Haddadi didn't go for the block, and that left it wide open for Nadim Issa.
Yeah, it was smart. He read the situation. He knew that Haddadi was going to look for that block, so the little ball fake as he drove to the basket was enough to take him away from Haddadi's giant wingspan.
And you can see he's worked on that left-handed shot. Now Haddadi turns it over, and that leads to another shot made by number 24, Al-Sate. And just like that, from desperation to the lead, Syria in front, and Al-Sate has had his hand in it. And Haddadi, after his foul, or after his turnover, they're able to break the foul on Kazemi. That's number 2 on him, Kazemi rather.
آرمان بیا جای بچه‌ها دقت بکنید. همین دفاع بازی حمله 41 رو انجام میدیم. اینجا پاس نمیده. میاد اینجا چون 2 نفر رو دارن من تو من دفاع میکنن. این حرکت میکنه میره بالا جای این یه جابجایی انجام میشه، پاس میدیم به حامد به داخل. بعد از اینکه پاس دادیم به حامد دیگه بقیه‌اش همونه. پیک میذاره، بعد میاد اینجا پیک میذاره، اینم بیاد اینجا یه پیک بذاره برای جمشید بیاد این بر. درست شد. بعدم به داخل بعد حرکت بکنیم بچه‌ها. توپو بیشتر بچرخونید، سرعت توپ کمه. 2-3 دفعه توپو بعد حرکت بدیم وسط کاملا باز میشه. ماشاءالله.
Team, 1, 2, 3.
So you could see that stat, which was interesting, that was thrown up by Luca, our graphics man, and it's really you would think that's a stat, points all turnovers, that by the end of the day is going to weigh heavily in favor of Iran. But right now it's Syria that have 6 points off of the Iran turnovers, and
that's
Iran
big
have
credit.
4.
That's a big credit to Syria. That shows you how they're going to approach this game. You know, they're clearly underdogs, like you're saying, with the absence of Hinton. That's even more so, but they're not going to back down. They know that intensity will be the key to keep them in the game and maybe get them what would be a huge upset win.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Iran are kind of having a lazy start to the game. Bakab from the right, and the three-pointer is good, and the Syria bench is up and cheering.
Rightfully so. Everything's going Syria's way right now, and it's down to Iran to change that flow, for them to start controlling the tempo and the play of the game.
Dadi, bounce pass, now to the corner, Yakchali, good! No substitute for a good shooter, and that's exactly what number 8 is. 8 is great for Iran. Picard, his team leading by 2, puts up another one, he's feeling it. And Haddadi livening up a little bit on the boards. Now quickly, Jamshidi. And Mashayekhi. And look at this, they get out in the break, and Bakar goes up, and he's able to get the foul called after Iran hustled back. Great hustle by Iran.
And Iran getting that final warning for talking to the officials. We've seen it quite a lot so far across the first 2 days of this tournament.
I could be wrong, but isn't that the ref that teed up somebody yesterday, like in the first few seconds? It was
Was it Artino?
Chinese, yeah, Artino. William Artino from Chinese Taipei. They call them tone-setting technical fouls, but he showed restraint here.
Yep. Yeah, he certainly has.
You can understand why Iran were aggrieved, because they hustled back to play defense, but Bakar very cleverly.
Yeah, split the defenders and got to the basket.
Well, just knew that it looked like he was trying to make sure he got some contact before he released the basketball. Jamshidi. Good job, Al-Sate, rebounding the miss by Iran's Reisefar. And now from the baseline. Syria stroking it. That was Georgi Nazarian.
And I love the job that Al-Sati's done. He's come onto the floor and really injected some energy and belief, I think, more than anything else into this Syrian team.
Yeah, he's not as tall as Al-Hamwi, but he is certainly moving well and competing against Haddadi and getting to the right spots on defense. Also moving on offense.
And for me, this is now for Haddadi to really impose himself on the game as an off-ball foul is called, because he has at least 15 centimeters over any other player. He doesn't want to be on the perimeter. He needs to be in the low block, drawing in that double team and disrupting Syria's defense.
Well, the thoughts of Saeed Armagani. How are we trailing a team that we really blew out the other day? A team that we got up on very early, outscored them 22-8 in the first quarter, and right now they're beating us 16-11. Now these two free throws have changed that, but still Syria, they need to continue to build on this. That's the challenge. And you don't win anything in the first quarter.
You probably think that that's been in their minds for Syria. You know, that early deficit, very keen that they weren't going to let that happen today.
What a bounce pass and great recovery there by Haddadi. Right, they had the right play. Coach can't be unhappy with that. Tip your hat to Haddadi. How about Jamshedi? Jafrabadi.
And this is the advantage Iran probably have. An individual play, you probably say their roster is more talented, and therefore when they get in holes like this, they have the ability just to individually step up and create for themselves if the team offense isn't working for them.
Arbasha with the dump, and good rebound by Iran's Arman Zanganeh. And now the pass intended for Zanganeh goes through the net and out of bounds. Quadrath is certainly aware of the rules.
He's bringing a personality for sure to the Asia Cup.
Now, Debbie in the game. They'll be into the game and showing some pace. Here he is running the baseline. Al-Basha again, bounce pass. Well, good idea. I mean, there's not much more you could do. You just got to make the shot. Adribe was close, but not close enough. Yakchali, and look out. Zanganeh, and the size of Iran has paid dividends on both ends of the court.
And I just think from Syria's perspective, looking at what they're going up against, the last place they want this is in the low block against Haddadi. They need to be fluid and quick, plenty of perimeter movements and cuts to the basket. That's where they're going to find joy. Going straight up against Haddadi is not the target that they need to be going for.
And by the looks of it, Zanganeh as well. He's an imposing presence on both ends. Look at Haddadi. It's great seeing him with this national team. Nice handoff. Syria move back in front. Adribe, the beneficiary of the penetration. He gets the two points. I like the attention that Dilby is paying to Yakchali. Wide open. Now they pass it around, and Haddadi, little step back, and look at my quality. I've still got it.
He certainly has, and that's where he needs to be more for Iran on the offensive end. He needs to be in the paint. He needs to be working close to the basket. He can shoot the ball, but his damage is going to be done a lot closer.
Boy, what a good play by Syria. They just had it knocked away, and Iran now bring it forward. I'm impressed by Syria's start. I mean, their coach, Quadrath, clearly does communicate well with these players, because they are moving it well. Some nice plays, but they're playing against a very good team. And Iran's Resafa, they are getting some open looks in the corner. Final seconds. So Iran recover right at the end and move back in front against Syria. At the end of one quarter, it's Iran leading it 22-18.
And I love the message that Coach Juarez gave. As you see some of the shooting statistics here, neither team shooting the ball well from outside. It's all getting done near the basket. But this idea of, come on, give me 100% for 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking.
Well, feast your eyes on these highlights. It's been a good start to the game. Both Iran and Syria giving as good as they're getting. It's been very even overall.
Yeah, it's been a real good battle, and you know, that idea from Coach Juarez for Syria of just coming in, giving everything you've got. You'll get 5 minutes, then you can come and rest, but you're going to have to leave everything on the floor today if we've got a chance of coming away from the win. He's absolutely right. That's what his players can't sandbag this. They can't hold anything back. They've got to give everything they've got. And we've seen examples of that straight away. Al-Sati coming in, getting the job done, bringing energy and belief to the floor. And that's that kind of mentality that got them the lead in that first quarter.
It's interesting watching Juarez, because obviously in Spain he's pretty well known, but I think it's a further illustration of some of the really good coaches in Spain. Download the Courtside 1891 app in your smartphone, stream schedules, scores, and get to see cool things like team previews, hearing some of the legends of the game, including Mr. Haddadi talking a lot about different opponents and Iran's chances. I remember watching Pep Claudo's coach Angola at the AfroBasket last year, and he was so intense but very good at the helm, a Spaniard at the helm of the Angola team. It's interesting to see if Juarez continues to get time with this Syria team. Al-Sati outside, he is good, isn't he? Goodness gracious me, the 24, burying it.
And it is, you just see the way he's playing the game. It's with real confidence, real belief that his team can come away from a win. They're not underdogs. It's almost like in his mind, he's switched off that result from earlier in the month, and they're ready to go again.
Well, you know, Iran keep having answers. Yakchali missing. Obviously, if they keep getting second and third opportunities, they're going to knock one in here. But you do wonder, Resafar, ultimately, if Iran will keep pace with Syria, if they keep turning it up. Look at that. They keep ticking that scoreboard over. Look at that. Nice play. Falls kindly. Going up against big man Haddadi. I'm not sure that was the best course of action. Juarez, I think, has just been teed up.
Yeah, I think he keeps encroaching over the line and onto the floor. Yeah, he's been warned about encroaching outside of his coaching area once. And picks up a technical through his frustration with his player giving up on the play when the ball was available.
So you think he was shouting at his player, not at the referee?
He wasn't shouting at the referee at all. The only reason he got a technical is because he's been warned about walking up the sideline, and he's gone past his line by a meter or so. And the officials, rightfully so, they've given him a warning. Yep. Their only option at that point is to give him a technical.
Or you can understand why they called it if they've warned him.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, what's the point in the warning? The frustration that the coach has with his own player. It was with Adribi, you know, arguing with the ref rather than chasing down the loose ball.
So Juarez just needs to focus on the task at hand and not become a distraction to his players, who have done a great job. Just down 2 and fouled while attempting the three-pointer, Dilby. And very cleverly, knowing Resefar was right there and was going to get some contact.
Yeah, it's smart. Pulling up just after that screen, you know that the defender is going to try and fight their way over the screen, and it's likely that momentum will take them into you.
So an opportunity to go back in front if he can make all 3 free throws.
Been so impressed by Syria in this opening stage. Just sitting here kind of trying to compute this. We were expecting it to be not quite as similar as the previous game where New Zealand routed India, but it's certainly not as close and as competitive as this. You know, what we've seen has been 2 very evenly matched teams, 2 very different styles. Clearly, you know, Iran seem more fundamentally sound, whereas Syria have approached it with more energy and a bit more pace. But
a much better organized than, a little bit more under control, I think, than what I've seen from Syria in recent years, including, you know, dating back to the last FIBA Asia Cup.
Yeah, it just feels like they're quite content to lean on each other as a team. They know where their, you know, where their offensive structure, how the play's going to run out, and a bit more patience on the offensive end.
Into the corner, and one of the newcomers just checking into the game for Iran, missing that one, Sajad Pazirovte. And he gets the block. Adribe puts it right back up and misses, and maybe that was not the right decision. Yakchali, a little bit out of control, goes out of bounds.
Now it's interesting now, Haddadi has gone to the bench, but Coach Juarez is going to bring Al-Hamwi back in, whether he sees that as the advantage now, rather than to have the 2 big guys matching up against each other to see if Al-Hamwi will have more of an impact at this point.
Again, I've been impressed by Zankane. I don't think he's going to take anything from Al-Hamwi, but we'll see. Al-Hamwi definitely has the capacity to make some dazzling plays. How about Adilbi getting in there? Look at that, number 14. Driving and scoring with the left hand, and a little bit of spin on the ball.
I think what Al-Hamwi gives you as well is a little bit more rim protection, so you can chase shooters out a little bit harder. Prior to him coming in, they were giving up a lot of jump shots.
And that time, the ball went right over him from Kazmi.
I'm not sure.
No, that was from the man himself, Resafat. Al-Sati stays with it, battling away. I'm not sure Al-Hamwi is 100%. He doesn't look like he's moving around that great. Isa. Left open, that's off to the right, and alley-oop goes to Al-Sati, who's been so active. Look at him. And Al-Hamwi,
just not a soft enough touch. And as frustrating as that is for Syria, they've also got to take the positive from that. Don't get frustrated by that. You've just got 2 offensive rebounds. Yes, you have to finish them. You can't afford not to finish them. But you're getting those opportunities now, which they didn't get in that previous qualifier.
ball turns over. Here's Adilbi again, and the break goes behind the back. Oh, loses control. Maybe trying to do too much. Kazmi picks it up. Yakchali with the pump fake, goes in. I tell you, he made that opportunity look easy, didn't he?
And from my perspective, I don't know why Syria are still sitting in this zone defense when Haddadi's not on the floor. They don't need to, because Iran primarily want to get jump shots.
Here's the man of the moment, Adilbi. I like what he brings to the table, number 14. And Arbasha trying to make the bounce pass, but sometimes you just have to have a little bit more awareness. You're not going to be able to deliver that one. Resafar, they swing it. Yakchali fouled while hitting the three by Adilbi.
You can't foul the jump shooter like that. As much as Iran have struggled from 3, they were just 1 from 9 from outside prior to that shot. And Al Hamwi's visit to the floor is limited, to say the least, as he goes back out. You feel that Coach Juarez is happier with maybe a smaller lineup on the floor, a more agile, mobile lineup.
So Yakchali makes the shot. Out of your screen, Al Hamwi gets an earful from his coach. Not sure he's going to get back into the game this half.
It's certainly a tempestuous relationship between those two. Ooh, well, looks like a carry.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And Issa turns it over. These are the danger moments for Syria. Turning the ball over.
Yeah, for me in this moment, it's worth a timeout for Syria next time out, particularly if Iran score. They just need to hit a little bit of a reset button and slow things down and get back to where they were. They're looking a little bit lost in the last couple of possessions.
In a 3-2 zone right now. Looks like it was the 3-2 zone, and Dresafar goes down and hits the long jump shot, and now the lead has grown to 7.
Just think that would have been the right time for a timeout. Both ends of the floor at the moment. Syria have just kind of lost their way.
Al-Sati with Haddadi back in the game. Wisely passes it back outside to Sheikh Ali. Bounce pass. Oh, goodness. Wow. Great play and able to finish. Haddadi was kind of caught. It's almost as if he's so tall he didn't see the pass down low.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting that backdoor cut. I think it was a perfect cut and a well-placed pass that just caught him slightly napping.
So push
for Haddadi.
Called on Haddadi.
Yeah.
He thought it was going to be on the other, and that's... So that's the second on Haddadi. Dangerous pass, gets there just in the nick of time because Kazimir was going for it. Bakar to Sheikh Ali.
Travel. Yeah. Absolutely. There's absolutely no argument on that play.
Adribi replaces Al-Sati.
And he has been
given a lesson on how you play the game.
Bright spark for Syria. He really has. Came in with so much energy and confidence and just really took it to Iran.
I mean, with play like that, that man should be the captain. Yakchali again for 3. Oh, man, he's just tough, isn't he?
And this was always going to be the way. Iran really struggled. They really struggled in that opening phase to get their shot away, but now they're hitting a big percentage from outside, and that's worrying signs for Syria.
Juarez not happy. Said he had wanted the timeout after the basket and didn't get it, so in the end, it pays off.
He's asked for it again if Iran score, he wants the timeout.
That was a big shot by Syria, starting to get away from them. Oh, terrific rebound. What long arms by Pazerote.
And if you're playing such a compacted zone defense, there's no reason that you're not grabbing every defensive rebound.
Pazerote for 3. Got to get that rebound. Nobody's boxing out.
There's almost no point to playing a zone defense if you're not going to get the rebound.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the primary reasons you're doing that. You're locking down the paint, saying, okay, we're going to give you a jump shot. We're going to enable you to shoot from range, but you're only going to get 1 shot. They cannot afford to give up that number of offensive rebounds.
So he wanted the timeout if it was a made basket. Arbasha has it. Gives it to Sheikh Ali. It's point deficit. Pass out to the perimeter. Kazemi saves it in bounds. That is him at his best. And it leads to an easy 2 points.
That's beautiful Iranian basketball, though. You just saw that, the intensity. They read the game well. They read the passing lane. Saves the ball from going out of bounds, and it's just a swift, smooth three-man break for the score. It's, yeah, that's how Iran, you know, dominate games.
Scan the barcode, folks. You know what you get. Courtside 1891. Let's try to listen to Coach Juarez.
Venga, 30 seconds for the start to go Jala. But it's possible against 2-3. 2-3. Create in the middle with one dribbling aggressive. If no aggressive, reverse. It's possible. How many fouls you want to do? Yesterday talk about that. You here, don't use foul. Fast break, no problem. Sit down. You don't use foul, sit down, no problem. Nadim, Nafaria. Okay, nobody stop the ball. We take in this quarter one foul and let it run. No problem. Sit down. No problem. No problem. Sit down.
Oh, shit. He's upset because they're not using their fouls and giving away some easy buckets.
We don't even need the microphone in the huddles, to be fair, when it comes to Coach Juarez. I think we could pick them up on our mics from the other side of the floor.
Part of me thinks they need more time together, but on the other hand, these guys have played basketball, so they should be able to.
To a certain degree, I think he's trying to stamp that identity on the team of, you know, not accepting this, woe is us, we're just Syria,
right.
We're turning up to make numbers up. He's kind of stamping this, no, we're here to win games. If you're not here to win games, then tell me, because you can leave. And I don't mind that.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I mean,
I think that's a good statement to make in a team like this, to say, look, stop thinking you're a lesser nation in this group. Just go out and win games. Just go out and execute.
Uh-oh, yeah, Charlie, they make the mistake by leaving that man open.
And you have to give Iran credit there. You know, one of the weaknesses of that zone is going to be the corners. And if you can shoot corner threes, then you're in a good place to beat that zone.
Kazemi yet again with the steal. This time he's going to take it down on his own. He misses the layup. Boy, what a break for Syria. They're down 11. That would have been a blow. Sheikh Ali, that's short. A little flat. Jamshidi gets swatted. Terrific play by Sheikh Ali.
That's a big block.
Bakar pulls up wisely. And now Iran want a timeout.
Yeah, it's interesting because Coach Juarez was talking about how to attack that zone and Syria weren't executing. He was saying attack the seams. Don't go straight at the players. Attack the seams on that zone. And I'm sure that's what he'll be talking to his players. But it's interesting that at the other end, that's where they were getting the timeout from. But Iran now with a 9-point lead, they want to keep them at that arm's length. They don't want to get into a close game again with them.
خب اینجا نوید، اینجا هم بهنام. جمشید میاد، نوید میاد بیرون، اینجا توپو میگیره، جمشید یه دور میزنه میره، توپو مستقیم میدیم پایین به حامد. مستقیم میدیم به حامد، بعد ارسلان میاد بالا یه پیک میده برای نوید میره. بهنام بعد از اینکه پاس داد حرکت بکنه بره سمت ضعیف، بعد دوباره چیز بیاد اینجا یه پیک بهش بده، خود چیز وسط خالی میشه. خود ارسلان وسط خالی میشه. یالا بچه‌ها دقت بکنید.
Well, we saw some pretty incredible performances yesterday. Marquez Bolden just took off, especially in the first half. But that man right there has been every bit as equal. He's got 19 points.
Yeah, and it's almost crept up on you. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those performances where it's just been constant, that, you know, that
it's
drip,
almost been Yakchali leading Syria. I mean, he's been that good. 3 threes.
Perfect from the free throw line. You can't ask much more from him.
Shooting 66 points, 67% overall from the floor, 6 of 9. Breaks the fire, puts it up. Good boy. And again, you are vulnerable to those jump shots everywhere out on the perimeter.
Yeah, they've gone from 1 from 9 from outside to 5 from 15. The game has changed for Iran now that they're hitting those threes.
Omar Sheikh Ali, much better, much more arc. Gets it right back.
And it's the right play. You have to make that defense collapse before you kick the ball out, before you take it out for the jumper.
Yakchali. Oh boy, he would have gone to 22 there. They lived dangerously, did Syria. Alsate, meanwhile, back in the game here for the end of the first half, last 14 seconds. Omar Sheikh Ali over to Issa for three. Iran with just enough time for Haddadi from half court. Oh, he almost made it. You can see that's a shot that he practices. What a first half. We're back into day one mode, folks. This is a game. Iran, in a way, you want to say they're playing with fire, but that doesn't do Syria justice. They have deserved what they've got. It's Iran leading 44-38 over Syria.
And interestingly, it's one of those games where Iran go to the locker room with the lead, but potentially Syria might be the happier of the two teams that they're still within striking distance of Iran. Iran haven't played to their potential, and Syria have really come out and shown us, you know, a very different style of basketball.
And Syria with the 4 threes, Iran with the 5, but you know they're almost their equals in assists, just 5 rebounds less. Obviously, Yakchali's 19 stands out. Faisafar as well has 12, but you know Syria have been spreading the points out. It's been a great display. And plenty of highlights. And, well, I mean, if you look at Syria, they're happy that they haven't been blown out like they were in the first quarter of their last meeting with Iran, but they're unhappy because they're trailing because, in a sense, they've been good enough to lead at halftime. And they probably would be if it were not for Yakchali catching fire the way that he has. That man right there, Alsate, has just been an absolute leader for this team. But overall, they're playing confident. They've got organization, and I'm impressed. This is a Syria basketball performance that I've never seen.
And the thing is, they've shown glimmers of this. They clearly have talented players, but they've never brought it together as a team, and it seems almost a psychological barrier that they've kind of turned up, that we're the underdogs, we're probably not expected to win this game, and entering any game like that instantly puts you at a disadvantage. Whereas now, they seem to have some personality, some players buying into the kind of fire and brimstone of Coach Juarez, the fact that he's demanding those players to give everything. He doesn't accept mistakes, that the expectations and the standards are going to be held to a much higher level than maybe they have previously.
Well, I think Indonesia, especially with Bolden, surprised us on day one. Chinese Taipei, I think, surprised us as well with their performance. We heard Korea were good. They were better than we expected. And certainly Syria, the way they're playing, really raises into question now in Group C which team is going to be the odd team out when it comes to making it to the qualification to the quarterfinals. You got Kazakhstan, you got Japan. Also in this group, they play next, and you know we've seen Japan have some struggles in recent times. Kazakhstan, certainly they've had highs, but they've had lows.
Yeah, this group is a really open group. This truly is. So you can see wins go all over the place.
I mean, this performance by Syria gives them every bit of reason to believe they can compete, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, and that's the key. They just need to go into the games knowing that they have a good chance of coming away with the win, and as long as they keep this level up, then they'll leave this game knowing that they can come away from Asia Cup with wins and maybe even get to that, you know, quarterfinal or the qualifier for the quarterfinal.
And I didn't see the, you know, unfortunately I couldn't watch the Amir Jabbar Hinton contributions in their games in the qualifiers, but one man does not a team make, and they've shown it today. They have played great basketball. Iran lead it though 44-38 over Syria at halftime.
Who will you become when the moment arrives and you're carrying the expectations of an entire nation? representing your people and their dreams, the colorful faces in the streets, the screaming fans in the stands. It's time to make your move. All eyes on you, all hope, all heart. Because when you win for all.
Swaki drives in, and Guari gets the rejection. Altarazzi, quick pass, oh, beautiful handoff, nice play, beautiful bounce pass.
Yeah, Hamuda there just reading the play perfectly, the timing as well, he waited.
Oh, the rejection, wow. Bang coming down and not in my house. Altarazzi puts up a three, banks it in. I think he was trying to get a foul. I think he knows the contact is coming, so he goes up. And he gets it off the glass and in. Saudi Arabia now being aggressive and coming down with the basketball. That was Al-Marwani. And then he gets a bounce pass. And Al-Marwani, the other Al-Marwani, throws it down. Nice handoff. Johnny Arrow gets in on the act. An unforgettable night in Indonesian basketball. Lewis gets it back. He's got to make that shot though into Al-Dwari, and then he is blocked by Maker as he goes up for the dunk.
That's a great block from behind. It's such a difficult skill to get the timing.
Just under a second left, and they do get the jumper off, and it's good! Wow! And guess who it was? Leo Chun. And Chinese Taipei leading it. Spins, gets down the baseline, puts it up and throws it down. Al-Harmajeh just looking up at the big fella.
And that's what he brings from that athleticism and just the aggressive move to the basket.
Alley-oop, oh, Bowling goes off, flushes it. He wanted the and one.
That is a big play.
Well, Anthony Bakar has done his bit, scoring 10 points. He hit an early three from the corner. That is another of his threes. And look at it. He has made 4 of his 6 shots from the floor. And one of the terrific performances, also Al-Sati there making the pass inside. And they're finding Bakar. That was the first one, I think. And has really kind of helped Syria compete against this powerhouse, or what should be a powerhouse Iranian team. I'm convinced that Iran can play a lot better, but that's taking nothing away from the effort that Syria have come out and put in today. I mean, they're playing with a lot more organization, a lot more determination, and then This is Iran Yakchale just, well, he's just an out-and-out scorer. He does a lot of things to help you win, but 19 first-half points, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not a bad contribution, right, from any player on the floor. He's certainly done a good job. But I agree with you, back to your comment. I think it's a combination. I think Syria look completely different. We've said it about several teams. They've come in with a different mindset, and that's changed the game. But I think there's still a few more gears. Iran, weirdly, even though they're coming off a qualification window, just look a little bit rusty. You know, their jump shot wasn't going early in the game. It started picking up in this in the second quarter. If they continue to shoot the jump shot well, then it should stretch out the lead a little bit, because I'm not sure Syria are ready to defend the perimeter well enough.
Well, interesting when you look at the FIBA rankings, these two teams, Iran number 23. So they're the second-ranked, highest-ranked team in Asia behind Australia, and ahead of New Zealand, who are at number 27. China are number 29. Korea number 30. You have to go all the way down the list to number 83 to find Syria. So that's kind of illustrates the magnitude of the performance for Syria today.
Absolutely. Historically, the gulf between these two teams is absolutely vast. You've got, you know, a multiple medaling country who've come here expecting to medal. They're expecting to be on that podium on the final day of the tournament against a team that historically wouldn't expect them to make it out of the first group stage, whereas on this first half performance, bear in mind we've only had 20 minutes, so we might be being a little bit premature. Syria have a chance. They do have a chance of making out of that group. Are they likely to medal? Probably not, but they do have a chance of winning a game here, and that's, you know, probably their first target is let's get a win in that group stage and see where that takes us.
So I think with Iran, what I would expect to see is a lot of pressure defensively, full court.
Yeah, I think so.
They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Syria.
And I think you'll see it early in that second half. I think, you know, the focus for Iran needs to be that first 5 minutes. Try and break almost the Syrian spirit around this game. Try and close the game out, and, you know, an almost horrible phrase, but put Syria in their place in a little way. Say, you know, we're Iran, you do know that. We're the favourites for this game, and just really impose their presence on Syria in the second half. And it's for Syria to almost, if they can withstand that first 5 minutes of bombardment from Iran, then we're in for a game.
So Bakar with the 10 points, Al-Sati with 7, Issa with 5.
And Al-Sati was one of those players that was a difference maker for Syria. He came off the bench and just came into the game with just energy and belief. And he's one of those players that you can see is reacting well to the different style that Coach Juarez is bringing to the floor. You clearly can see some Syrian players aren't and some are. But overall, it's having a positive impact by the looks of it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm a bit underwhelmed by the performance of this Iran team today. I think they, in a way, from an intensity standpoint,
I think
they started to ratchet up early, and then they kind of, I don't know, it was almost as if they lost to...
It felt like they entered the game kind of feeling that their game's won. To them, it almost felt like maybe the New Zealand game with India, that it was a foregone conclusion. We're going to come in, go through the motions, you know, have a little bit of a warm-up and get our feet firmly fixed in the tournament. But that's not what they've met. They've met a Syrian team who are very determined.
بهنام اینجا اومده پایین، برمیگرده به بهنام میده و بهنام بعد از بهنام رول میکنه میره تو. بچه‌ها دفاع الان میریم من تو من، برمیگردیم میریم من تو من، دقت بکنید.
Against 2-3, when play picks, it's very important that another inside came here. Because if not, this man stay here. And this man, if it's possible, when play pick, not only this line, because when cut is ring, go here, and the big man inside, in the middle. When play here, this man.
Well, the Asia Cup app is there for the downloading, folks. Just use that barcode and you will get everything you need, or do a search for the app. Get it in the smartphone, get everything that you need. See the veteran Haddadi discussing with Chale, Jamshidi, Recifar, Kazemi, how they want to approach this, and there is a more serious look on the face.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? There's a more determined look to the way they've come back out, and I think they know that a 6-point lead over Syria at the half is not where they need to be. They want a second half that sends a statement out. Always the first game of a tournament sets the tone for that tournament, and also sets the tone for how they're going to be received by other teams in the tournament. You know, Iran only leading by 6 at the half over Syria says maybe they're not as strong as they were.
Second half action underway. Haddadi and Iran. And foul called here on Syria. Haddadi shares it, and outside it goes. And Kazemi bats it out, but Anthony Bakar was there to catch.
And as much as they didn't score that, that's the right move. Putting the ball into Haddadi in the paint draws and contracts that Syrian defense into everyone having to help out, and that's why they're going to create space on the outside for those jumpers.
Oh boy, tough shot. Great follow by Omar Sheikh Ali. Kazemi is helped up by Haddadi, looking like somebody bowled me over. How are you not going to call that? Yeah, that will embolden Syria just a little bit more. They find Recifar. Haddadi with the rebound, and he is fouled. 2 shots.
And this is the issue that Syria have. Without El Hamwi on the floor, if they let Haddadi establish that low in the paint, it's either points or a foul. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, no offense to Al Hamwi, but I just don't think he offers even that any type of defense or battle for position.
No, he's not brought the physicality today. You're absolutely right. He's not come in with that, right, I've got someone that I need to kind of almost rough up. I need to be physical with. I need to make sure they go and establish themselves.
So what you lose with that, you actually gain in other areas by having a quicker, more determined players on the court.
But they are going to have to find a way of stopping Haddadi without it being everyone collapsing into the paint, because eventually Iran's jump shot will come in, as we saw in that first half. So it's a difficult puzzle for Syria to solve.
Trailing by 5 points, though. They've started well here in the second half. Bounce pass. And they had a terrific look, again, by Adribe, but just one shot and out. Now you get Chale. Recifar gets it to Kazemi, who falls down. He's able to pass it to the corner to Yakshali. Look at him still pass it around. Recifar gets it back to Kazemi, and he's fouled as he goes up.
And you see, just from that play, as you see the replay of it, just a far more determined Iran. Yeah. You know, they clearly feel, actually, we are in a game now. This isn't going to be that gimme game that we thought maybe it was. We are going to actually have to go through the gears a little bit to see this one out.
Remember, Iran not able to, well, you see Sheikh Ali missing. They had lost. They have been upset over the years in some games, like falling to Iraq, for example. The first World Cup qualifier, that was 2017. And sometimes that lackadaisical approach can get you in trouble, but they have definitely come out with a little bit more zip.
And if anything, it's probably a benefit for Iran to have this little bit of a wake-up call in a safe situation where they still have 20 minutes and they're against a team that they can absolutely you know, turn it on against.
Kazemi, oh boy, that rebound was there for Sheikh Ali to pick up, just could not quite get it, and Haddadi seems to be getting all of the loose balls now, all the rebounds. Watch Sheikh Ali, just kind of was under the basket too much or something.
Yeah, we've seen it throughout these first couple of days, actually. Players not going to the fundamentals of rebounding, not boxing out, not finding the body to seal out first, just, you know, ball watching and seeing if they can out-jump people. Fine in certain circumstances. When you've got a player of the size and experience of Haddadi, you can't afford to do that. You have to box him out. Someone's job has to be to put a body on him to stop him getting so easily into that paint. And I think Al-Sati might be being brought on for exactly that reason.
Oh, can you believe it? Oh boy, I thought he turned it over.
The official saying it was his fault.
Iran coach begs to differ, thinks that it should be Orion's basketball. Taking it all the way and missing Arbasha. Adribe trying to get to the follow. Yakchali, and boy, that was a beautiful fast break. Finished by Resafa.
Yeah, I think it's getting close to that tipping point now. If I'm Coach Juarez, one more score for Iran, and I need a timeout. They need a new plan. Because this second half, Iran look a lot more confident.
Yeah, a lot more resolute. And the ball goes off of Adribe's hands, and it leads to another break. And that's where Iran beats you down the floor for the layup. Oh, Juarez looks like he knows what to do to fix it.
Yeah, he's called the timeout. He's gonna talk it over. I'm not sure it's an easy fix because the Iran team that we're seeing now is far better.
And my point guard and the number 2 don't come back to transition defense. Sit down. Omar, go. Sack. Only one man go to transition defense. Miss, and only one of them. No problem. Start to talk with the doctor about your aim, but no come back. 1 and 2, and miss and go alone. I say in the 2 and 13. How many times why? 2 and 13 play.
Call 2 and 13, yellow.
Hani, you can pass the ball aggressive outside. It's possible. Play 2 and 13, good picks. Play calm, easy shot, go and come back fast. It's possible.
Good screens.
Some wonderful insight into Asia Cup and into this level of basketball, seeing so close and into the timeouts, exactly how it's being communicated and how demanding Coach Juarez is being of his team. You know, it doesn't accept that people can't come back and play transition defense, doesn't accept the, you know, the excuses that his team are giving him at the moment.
And coming out of the timeout, a turnover, and that is always a very bad thing. Inside, Kazemi misses a layup, a break for Syria.
Yeah, they were lost on the defensive end. They didn't know if they were in zone or man. Completely lost their assignments.
Asati, oh boy, what a tough move he is. What a tough player.
I think he's going to be the star in that Juarez-style Syrian team that we're going to see.
And ball just glances off the rim from Rasul Monsafar. And Bakar couldn't get that one to drop. Kazemi rather, and Jamshidi able to get it in the corner. Now he's going to go hard on the baseline, and here they are again. Monsafar, Kazemi again, and Haddadi was hacked by Bakar. Well, just give the credit for the determination to Iran there. Jamshidi was in the corner. They pass it around. Kazemi always there for the follow, for the rebound. Nobody's going to beat him to the offensive rebound.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, you absolutely have to give credit to Iran in the second half. They've come back engaged. You know, it was almost a bit more scrimmage type of game in that first half, taking it a little bit lightly, but they're so engaged now. They're moving the ball, their brains are locked into the game and on what they need to be doing, and that makes it really difficult for Syria now because they're playing a very different Iranian team than they played in that first half. But that said, I'm not seeing Syria backing down. They're making some simple mistakes, which is costing them, but they're not backing down from the challenge.
Tell you what, if you want young players to know how to play the basketball game, and it doesn't matter what position, just put a video highlight reel of Arslan Kazemi together, and he will show you how you play the game of basketball. His effort is off the charts. Ball goes out of bounds. So keep your eye on number 14 as this game goes on. He is everywhere.
Yeah, you don't feel like he has any gears. It's just top gear and that's it.
And Alsati able to get the basketball up before the shot clock. And now a push on Jamshidi on Bakar.
And this is the way that Syria are going to stay in this game, just by that pure hustle, by chasing every opportunity they've got, by giving that 5 minutes of 100% that their coach has asked for.
Bakar from the elbow, and that hustle gets them a basket. Bakar's been good today. Jamshidi with the turnaround. Oh boy, look, Kazemi, yeah, just taking that rebound away. And the air ball this time lands in the hands of Syria. Obeid in the game, number 9. Now it's Alsati. Obeid, shot clock winding down. Alsati from the right, good defense from Jamshidi. Jamshidi pulls up on the break. You could almost feel that coming after the effort that he gave on the defensive end, and back to a 14-point advantage. Alsati strong with the basketball, goes hard. Idriba. Basketball players on the ground battling for the ball. Alsati did the right thing by driving in the lane.
Just needs to be careful with that dip of that shoulder. He's going to get close to getting an offensive foul called. I like the aggression. I like that he's determined to draw the contact and be the initiator. Just needs to be a little bit careful how far that shoulder drops down.
I think Obeid doesn't want to come out so soon after coming in, but he's going to have to, and it's going to be Arbasha calling the shots. Bakar puts it up, and one of the rare misses for him, really. He shot the ball well today. Bakar 5 of 8 from the floor. It's his third miss. Bounce pass, Kazemi, good defense by Idriba. They call a jump ball on that.
That's good D. I thought they were going to call the foul, but I think that's just good D. Standing straight up. So they both came down holding the ball, so it's the right call.
Excellent call. And guess who's back in the game? Al-Hamwi. First time since he was yanked.
Yeah, he's certainly been on the wrong end of a few coaches' tirades today.
Yakchali. Oh, he's just outrageous.
How do you make a shot like that under so much pressure?
From the corner, almost falling out of bounds. Oh, a little bit too much dribbling from Adelby, and he's able to hustle and make up for it.
Syria.
16-point lead. That was a huge shot. That was really it's tough on Syria, but the reality is they're playing against a team that has some good scores. And look at this, they're also getting into transition. So the lead is ballooned to 18 points. We thought it would happen eventually. You can get better, but ultimately, again, those rankings don't lie, do they?
No, they're going to, you know, most of the time they come out, they play out across a 40-minute game. They may be different at certain phases of the game. But Iran have looked strong. It's now for Syria to put something up.
No, it's with this cut. With 2 or 3, man. 2 or 3. You pass the ball over 10 and later don't come back. Nazaria, switch and come back. Next player, don't come back. Fast and let run, no play more in 2 games. If we let the game walking, no problem. Sit down. Go, 3 in defense. Go.
1 2 3
It's yeah, he's just not accepting anything but the best right now.
He told somebody you're going to sit down if you're not he said walking, okay, sit down.
Yeah, he's calling them out, and I like it. It's going to be a real different mindset for Syria going forward if Coach Juarez gets to spend some time with this team.
So he's pulled Adilbi out. So I'm guessing that's who he was talking about. No, Issa goes out. Zangane back in the game for Kazemi. Oh, Alhamwi's got a shot. That's one of those. No. Okay, good.
It's interesting. I was watching him in the warm-up, and he was concentrating on those mid to long-range jump. And it's not, you know, for sometimes big guys struggle because of the size of the ball in their hands, but he's not got a bad form.
No, he's hit. You know, he hits threes as well.
Yeah.
That ball bounced over him. I definitely think he's got a back issue because he doesn't seem to be moving around great, but I could be wrong. Yakchali. I mean, talk about, you could just put together all types of videotapes of Iran. Yakchali,
yeah,
Katami, just as teaching instruments. they are locked and loaded. And effort is never an issue with those guys. Abasha, quick pass, and Adribi scores.
And these are the glimmers that we see from Syria. It's just they need to string it together on both ends of the floor. They need that dynamic, fast-paced, moving offense, as well as good, stable, fundamental defense.
Here he is now, Yakchali again. You know, he's been playing in Germany. It's interesting, to good reviews over there as well. So he's not one of the Iranian players that stays at home. He's gone out, challenged, tested the waters. I'm sure he has some fans at Mitteldeutscher and Rostock. His past teams is cheering him on. Not to mention, more than anybody, fans in Iran. So coming into the game, Mateen Agajampur, 71. He's a big fella. Alhamwi gets it. Hassanzadeh guarding him. Nice pass, Alhamwi. Oh, the rejection. I'll tell you what. That was a big-time play from Zangane. He's shown something today. He doesn't look as imposing as he plays. Zangane, I mean, he is an absolute beast on defense.
Yeah, another one of those players that just plays with hustle the whole time. He's the guy picking you up. You've got problems.
Look at the effort from Adribi. I mean, he has been terrific as well today for Syria. Hustling, battling away against bigger players.
Yeah, I was going to say, in most of the battles he's had, he's been the undersized player, but he's just not stepped back from those fights at all.
He's an undersized 5.
Yeah,
that's what he's
severely
playing.
Undersized.
Look at him getting the rebound there. I'm sure Wada, if he goes back and looks at this game, he's like, okay, and he did an evaluation of everybody, he would know the guys that want it.
Yeah. And you're seeing even just from their reactions in those timeout huddles, you can tell who's on board with this process, who isn't, and those ones that are in the middle at the moment. They're not sure. There's a bit of shell shock with some of the players. But interesting to see if Syria stick with Coach Juarez and how much he can impose this kind of new identity, this new mindset for Syrian basketball.
That was better from Al-Hamwi, but he's still getting an earful from his coach. And he has to have high standards if he wants to get something from him. Arabashi gets inside and a three-bay right on cue. Throws it down. And right at the end, not there for Rezafar. So Syria, I think a very important bucket there at the end of the third quarter. They said, you know what, we might go down, but we're going to go down fighting. We want this to be a close game for as long as possible. Iran leading at 65-50 over Syria with 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it's been a tough quarter for Syria. They're held to just 12 points in that quarter, their lowest scoring effort in this game. And that 15-point gap will be a bit of a relief for Iran and all their fans, that they're a little bit more comfortably away from Syria now.
Well, enjoy the highlights, folks. We're certainly enjoying it from our position. Even with Iran coming out and basically saying, well, we're going to give you our best shot, and going up by 19 points, this Syria team just continues to battle. And that is step one. You got to have the effort right, and I think that's what Juarez is instilling in these players. And they seem to be responding to him. But then you have the issue of talent and ability, and I'm not sure in terms of talent. There's more talent on the court right now than Yakchali. I mean, he's just in a different league. So going up against that, Arias getting back on fast breaks. You know, that's both conditioning and getting out and running and incorporating that into your game. But in terms of effort and strength, Adribe, what he's brought to the table has been impressive. Adribe, Bakar has played about as well as I've ever seen him play today.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, certainly. Coach Juarez seems to be almost instilling an expectation on the players, on themselves, and an expectation on their teammates. And that's great. I love the fact that now you can almost see the players looking at each other saying, I'm expecting you to put in as much as I do. And they're, you know, like you said, we're seeing some of the players step up to that.
And you've also got a bright young talent in Adilbe, for example. Look at that. They get it to Adribe and just lost control of the dribble as he got it into the paint. Good play. Jamshidi stays out. Hassanzadeh gets in there and has the ball wrestled away by Al-Hamwi. His coach will like that.
And I think that's what he's been asking for from Al-Hamwi. A bit more aggression, a bit more attention to detail as well. Where are you setting the screen? How are you setting the screen? Are you running hard to get up and down the floor?
2-3 zone. Quick pass. Hassanzadeh gets in for the dunk. And they fell asleep.
And I think with Al-Hamwi on the floor, a 2-3 zone just isn't right for them. It just doesn't work. He needs to be in the center. He needs to be the central rim protector. Putting him on one of those wings is asking him to chase out corner threes. It's a big ask for him to be able to do that.
And that might have actually been Adribe's fault. Here he is. Catches it down low, goes up, and gets the 2 points back. Syria, they've got to fight to the death here, and you can see Juarez over there living and breathing every second, coaching this defense, trying to get the execution that he wants. They give up a long jumper, and that can't happen. Al-Hamwi, though, able to get the ball back, but you can't have the smallest guy on the court, Masayeki, get in there and get the rebound when there's a lot of red shirts. And the runner was there. Nice drive by number 6, Georgi Nazarian.
Good start to the final quarter for Syria, and this is different as well. I've seen many games that Syria have played where when they've gone down, they've had problems. They're now moving to a box and one. Interesting. They've gone to a box and one defense. Picking up Jamshidi. Very rare you see it.
Chance to run, a rare chance, and here he goes, Nazarian, and knows, oh, he gets a score! What an incredible finish from Nazarian. Give credit where it's due. He did not want to charge. So he pauses right at the end. Masayeki crosses over, puts it up, and he had enough skill to spin it off the backboard and in.
That's a great play. Taking that much contact and staying with the play to get the score.
That might just be the best play of the game right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going on the highlight route for this game, but bringing them within 11 now, there's a psychological point. If they can get this bonus as well, within 10, and just under 8 minutes to play, it's all open.
Couldn't get it to go.
This game, like many before it in this Asia Cup, has turned out to be a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, you just think that there's like an elite and then a group of teams that just won't be able to compete ultimately, and we have just seen different faces for different teams at this FIBA Asia Cup. It has been a beautiful thing. And this new look Syria team is definitely raising eyebrows. Quick pass to Al-Hamwi, and he goes up and misses, and he's gonna dunk it. He missed a finger roll. I think he didn't dunk it initially because he was too far under.
I think he was facing the wrong way, and he didn't want to have to pivot because then the defense would collapse on him, but I think he learned by his mistake, shall we say, as he throws it down with the smallest of jumps.
Well, it's down to single digits, and Syria telling Iran they're not going to be a punching bag today, folks.
یک دفعه اون کاری که بهتون میگم انجام بدید. چرا انجام نمیدید؟ من گفتم 412 رو باید بزنید. 412 یعنی اینکه یه پیک بعد اینجا به جمشید بدیم بیاد الان حامد اینجاست. دقت بکنین اگر این پیکو سویچ کردن بدیم بلافاصله به حامد. حتی اگر من تو منم بازی کردم بعد همین کارو بکنیم. بعد اگر جمشید توپو گرفت حامد میاد اینجا باشه پیک ان رول تو کورنر بازی میکنه. چرا درست انجام نمیدید؟
And the Iranian huddle a little bit more serious than it has been for the rest of the game, a little bit more intense as the pressure ramps up on them. Like you say, Syria refuse to go away, then just know that they can keep plugging away. They have a lot more belief in themselves. But I mean, keen to see the reintroduction of Haddadi, though, back into the game against El Hamwi, how that plays out.
Haddadi back in the game, going up against Al Hamwi. Hands it off to Jamshidi. Masayeki. His attempt rims out. Nobody boxed out Hassanzadeh. So he got the rebound. Haddadi, the shot clock winding down. And this time Yakchali, the man that doesn't miss. I mean,
where would Iran be today without him? Where would they be? I think they'd be down by quite a bit.
He's got 27 points. I mean, this is arguably the performance of the tournament. Adribe and Haddadi able to get it away. Now Yakchali again pulls up, knows he's going to drive. He's fouled. I just think Yakchali is the ultimate baller. I mean, look at this.
If he plays like this throughout the tournament, he's absolutely in contention for being in the all-tournament team, that's for sure.
Average 9 points, 4 rebounds in Germany for Mitteldeutscher. And just continues to pour him in. 29 points for Yakchali. Al-Sati goes right at, look at that. He took on Haddadi and thought he might get the call, but he didn't. Now the ball goes off of Hassanzade's hands.
Haddadi taking point guard responsibilities there, but the rest of the team not really running the lanes effectively for him to distribute out of.
Shayeki trying to harass Abashi. Now they switch. Hassanzade might be a matchup that no, Abashi doesn't take him. Al-Sati hands it off. Here's a creator. Oh, nice play. And the finish by Al-Hamwe. And how about the young Nazarian?
He's really come and stepped up in this fourth quarter. He's putting a big performance, and that's a really soft touch to pass the ball inside like that.
So young, he's 28 years old. That's definitely younger than me, but I guess experienced. And certainly earns his minutes with how he's playing. Jamshidi, look at him compete for the rebound now. Good job by Issa, knocking it away. Al-Hamwe would have been tempted to shoot that, but didn't want to get yanked to the bench. Issa. Al-Sati hands it off. They got to drive. They got to get going. It's go time. Hibachi puts it up for three. Well, it was a good attempt under the circumstances. Iran trying to put away this determined Syria team. They hand it off, and Mashayeki gets inside and scores. So the lead goes back to 14.
And this is where Iran show their quality, and that's kind of the acid test for good teams as well.
Al-Hamwe, there he is for three.
Yeah, the acid test to see if you're under a little bit of pressure, team's starting to draw you back in. Are you able just to go through the gears again and step away? And that's exactly what Iran have done.
And Haddadi loses it. And quick pass. Haddadi appealing for a foul. But Iran up by 14 with just under 4 minutes remaining. And see the pat on the back from the coach for Nazarian as he goes out. It's all about building a squad right now and getting everybody on the same page. You're either with us or without us. That's the message. Issa drives in, goes to the left hand and misses the layup.
But I take that kind of play from Syria as a positive, that even though they're trailing by 14, they're still confident. They still want to go to the basket. They want to make things happen. They don't just want to see the game out and try and get back to the locker room, you know, with their head in their hands. They want to fight all the way to the end, and that's a really important trait to have in tournament basketball.
Here's Yakchali, goes baseline. They swing it. Jamshidi, feet set. Just hasn't been able to get going today. Jamshidi, for whatever reason. I mean, he is a really good shooter, but it has been tough work for him today. Yakchali goes and gets him some skin as the teams go to the bench with 3:24 to play.
We play 3 minutes, 24 seconds. You can play?
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Okay, go. Nafarian, you are? Okay, Nafarian, you. Hey, 25, don't let run any time. Any. We take only one foul. No turnovers. Every people remember 3?
Yes. The set offense?
Flex. Yes. We play flex, but it's important screen, and when go up, the men stay on 5. Okay? But our first offense now, we play. You 5, 1, 5, 4, 2 and 3.
Okay.
Check. Special.
Okay.
Spanish. Pick and pop with 5. Okay, because stay like 5, one of them. Okay, if not 3, and come back fast.
Same
in defense. If Jantzir is in, 41.
3 more minutes, Shabab. 3 more minutes. 1, 2, 3. Syria.
Love that. He's still fully focused on winning this game.
Yep.
There's no limit damage. There's no let's think about tomorrow. It's we're going out. We've got 3:25. We're down by 14. We're going to win.
It is a very good point, though, when you talk about goal differential, because you could see Syria, if they don't win this game, maybe beating Kazakhstan, maybe beating Japan.
Yep.
And then goal differential could work into it. Yeah,
that's for sure.
Either head-to-head or a 3-way tie.
Yeah, they
3-1-1.
They can't let this one slide. They can't go out to a 20-25 point loss. They need to keep tight. But that timeout was about winning the game. That timeout was clearly about trying to win this game.
Sati takes it, and now numbers are Bashi for 3. Nope, it's going to be Isa. And good attempt, and Alsati able to take it away.
He brings so much hustle. Alsati just tries to chase like a dog chasing a ball. He's just chasing everything that he can to try and get extra possessions for his team.
And Sheikh Ali could, you know, I'm guessing he's going to pick that up and pass it because he's not going to shoot it. But he just couldn't pick it up. Haddadi all good. Alsati had the hands up again. 3-on-1 break. They've got to convert this. Oh, he took the wrong decision. Oh, no, they're going to give him the foul. They're going to give him the basket and the free throw. Was he in the semicircle? Is that why they called that? I'd have to see it again.
So. Let's see. I think there's a conversation about whether he released the ball or not as well before the contact was made. Yeah, they're giving him the 2.
Yeah, they get the 2. I was thinking it was going to be a charge, to be honest, but
must have been in the restricted area.
Well, Iran not complaining, so that was a huge shot.
It takes him up to double digits now with that free throw as well. 10 points, 5 rebounds. He's put in a great performance for Syria today, Alsati.
Cuts it back to an 11-point deficit, keeps Syria in the game, but they need to get a stop. Iran trying to lower the boom here. Bissafar gets it to Hassanzadeh. Haddadi flies in for another offensive rebound. He misses. They stay with it, and he finally puts it up and in.
And adds another 3 rebounds to his box score.
Oh boy, Yakchali took it away from Arbacha and goes in, and that just adds to the brilliance of Yakchali's game today.
Yeah, on every single area of the floor, he's excelled.
Alsati turns it over this time to Jamshidi, who hustles down.
That's a good foul. That's a good foul.
Yeah, they've got a couple more they can give before they're over the limit.
But this last minute and 22 now, clearly Iran are going to take the win here. But as you were saying, they've got to keep it tight. This could quickly be a 20-25 point game, even though there's a minute 22. If Syria just take their eye off and think, well, we've lost the game now, let's not play hard for the final, well, less than 100 seconds, less than 90 seconds. They've got to stay with this. They can't just turn off.
Personal
It's interesting that he brings Azri in as well for the last minute or so. One of the only youngsters in the roster for Syria, 20 years of age, the majority of them over 25. Only a couple of players under 25 in this roster, so certainly a veteran team.
Yeah. He played earlier, hasn't played much at all though, has he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he has fouls to burn, that's why. And into Haddadi, and another two for him. Adribe, he catches it right there. He's not going to be able to stop it. Interesting to hear different opinions about where Haddadi ranks in the terms of international big men, not just Asian big men. Here's Adribe, puts it up and in. In the history of Asian big men and international big men.
It's interesting, I remember him back in 2010 at the World Cup going up against the USA team, and you just saw the USA players looking at him thinking, he'd be fun to dunk on. So they spent the whole game trying to dunk on him, and very few of them got anywhere near it. At that point, he was a lot more mobile and was able to contest them.
And not long after, he was in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he earned a fair bit of respect within that tournament.
Played with Memphis, Phoenix, and the ball kicked. I don't know why we didn't see more of Adilbi, but maybe he kind of lost, maybe he lost some, wasn't executing right with the game plan. Maybe that's why they pulled him out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
pretty well.
The way Coach Juarez has run this is one mistake and you come into the bench. So a couple of mistakes and you quickly lose 5-10 minutes of your rotation time. And I think Adilbi may have been a victim of that today.
Good bullet pass just into the game from Iran, number 10, Mohammad Yusuf Vand. And he stands to get an assist on this play if Hassanzadeh makes one of the two free throws.
But again, I like the foul. They're not giving up the easy two. You're going to go and earn your two from the line. They're playing all the way to this final buzzer.
He misses both. Look at Adribe, doesn't give up on it. He hustles, but just couldn't get there around Mateen Agajampur fast enough, number 71 there. Just 21 years of age, Agajampur. Here's Agajampur showing some shooting skills. Looked good on the release. Keep an eye on him for the future. Well, he got back in the game and he's making the most of it. Azri, and cuts it back to a 13-point game. So I think all things considered, probably a fair reflection of this game. But the one thing that I think everybody will agree is this was one heck of an effort by Syria. They really changed the chip for this game under Coach Juarez. Congratulations to them, even in defeat. Congratulations to Iran. They get their FIBA Asia Cup off to a winning start, 80-67 over Syria.
And not the game we were expecting at all. We were expecting Iran to push out and you know, show their pedigree. But Syria have really challenged them today. You know, the two takeouts from this are clearly that Syria are going to be a tougher opponent throughout this competition than maybe many people give them respect for. Whereas for Iran, they're going to need to be a little bit more fully focused for the full 40 minutes. Although looking at some of those stats, rebounds 53.
Well, a lot of those stats you figure with Haddadi in there, you know, missing a shot, getting the rebound, missing the shot, getting the rebound again. I mean, there's not much you can do about that for Syria.
Yeah, he's come away with 8 offensive rebounds, 20 in total. So, Yeah, almost half their rebounds come from Haddadi.
Without a doubt, for me, the difference is Yakchali and Kazemi for Iran. They just set the tone.
Yeah, they truly did. Yakchali, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Both ends of the floor was really leading Iran, but so many big plays from Syria as well. This wasn't like Syria had one player that were keeping them in the game throughout. You know, they ended up with 3 players in double digits. They ended up with 10 of their 12, 9 of their 11 actually scoring. So a pretty impressive game for them.
It definitely was. As we look at these highlights, and well, you got to know that, again, that Iran, I don't know how they would evaluate this performance. I think you got to tip your hat. They just have to tip their hat to Syria and say, hey, they've stepped it up a notch, and they made life a little more difficult for us.
Yeah, I think the good thing for Iran is they've got some lessons to learn from this game. They've got plenty of game tape to go through now to pick out, well, how did Syria cause us problems? Where are the weaknesses in our style of play? One of the weaknesses, I think, was underestimating Syria. That was probably one of the biggest ones, and they're not going to be able to go into games like that going forward. But they've got plenty to take out of it, Iran.
The question will be now for Syria. They've expended a lot of energy today, and how will they come back for their next game? I mean, you know, a couple of days rest, it should be okay, I would think. If anything, they will be emboldened by the whole experience, but they will play against a Japan team that's going to want to run, that's going to want to push it. And then they'll wrap things up with a game against Kazakhstan. I would think they would have a better chance to beat Kazakhstan than Japan. But we haven't seen either Japan or Kazakhstan yet.
Yeah, no,
We've only
I think
seen them in recent times.
Those two go against each other in the next game, and it's going to be really telling. And I think both of those teams will have looked at this game and will have had a little bit of a moment going, this isn't going to be easy to get through to the next round, because Syria are going to be a contender. You know, stepping from the outside, Kazakhstan near perfect in their qualification bar, a hiccup against Bahrain for the World Cup qualifiers. Japan haven't had the best of times in the World Cup qualifiers, but historically they've been impressive, and with Watanabe back, that makes Japan a lot more of a threat. So, yeah, this is going to be a really interesting group. I think every game in this group could be quite a battle.
So positive performance, even in defeat. No moral victory, but at least something to build on if you are Syria. And Iran ultimately getting the win they needed, because primarily that man right there just has become a real leader for this team. So the first game of Group C has been played. Iran winning it 80-67 over Syria. And next up, we'll see Japan take on Kazakhstan in the other Group C game.